Welcome back to the Team to Be Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. The Miami Heat's NBA Cup is finally over. They fall to the Orlando Magic 117 to 108 on the road. And honestly, this was a frustrating game, and I don't care that it was a cup game. I don't think this cup matters at all, quite frankly, but the Miami Heat just have been playing very bad lately, including tonight. The threes were ugly for the Miami Heat. The rebounding was a problem, and now the Heat are out of this stupid tournament. This knockout NBA Cup game in Orlando tonight had the Magic come in with confidence, even though they were missing Franz Wagner, who just got hurt against the Knicks in his last game, and they basically have been dominating the Miami Heat all season long. They are now up 3-0 on the season series against the Miami Heat. And the Heat now have dropped to 14-11 on the season. And they're on a 4-game losing streak, while Orlando moves to 15-10. The Heat have also lost 5 out of their last 6. So they're trending in the wrong direction. They've been bad of late. The bench has been bad. They're not consistent. They were a strength for this Miami Heat team, and in the first few weeks of the season, they were red hot, scoring a ton of points. But players like Simone Fontecchio, was terrible tonight and didn't help the Miami Heat when the rotations weren't great either when they came in, and the bench just killed all of the momentum tonight for the Miami Heat. The shooting was terrible. The Magic basically packed the paint tonight and were protecting the rim and trying to make it hard for the Miami Heat to score baskets at the rim. Basically dared the Miami Heat to shoot threes. They couldn't hit a three basically all game, and that was the ball game right there. The Miami Heat were up by at least, I think, 16 points at one point in the first half. They started off the game on a 13-0 run. They were up 20 points to 4 in that first quarter. They ended the first quarter up 30-17, had all of the momentum. They were red hot offensively. They were playing great defensively. They were playing with energy, very fast paced, obviously. But then the second quarter was really pathetic. And the Heat, their defense was terrible. They started missing a ton of shots, and the Magic gained all the momentum and took that momentum and basically didn't look back and took their first lead in that second quarter and were able to control the game for the most part, and were able to go up double digits in the fourth quarter. The Heat came back a little bit in the last few minutes. Andrew Wiggins was playing a lot better, more aggressive in that fourth quarter, but it didn't really matter because the Miami Heat were not good enough in that second quarter and that third quarter. And it's always a little too late for the Miami Heat. They seem to bounce back late in the fourth quarter to try to make these late comebacks, but just don't have enough firepower, and still we're not able to hit threes late in this game. So tough game for the Miami Heat. Even though the starters did put up numbers, it just didn't translate to winning. Andrew Wiggins, like I mentioned, played well in the fourth quarter and the first quarter. He had 19 points on 8 for 14 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3. So he was efficient, aggressive, did his job in the fourth quarter. Bam was solid too, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 for 6 from the line. So he was solid, battling on the glass basically by himself for the most part. Him and Chloe Ware didn't play together, I don't think, really at all. And I think we got out rebounded. Definitely got out rebounded. Anytime we're playing against Wendell Carter Jr., he's going to out rebound us on the glass, especially on the offensive glass. But Bam was fine. Norm was fine, except he shot pretty bad from 3. He had 21 points, 8 for 19 shooting, but 4 for 12 from 3. High volume, and he's streaky at times. And he got hot at times early on, and Miami made their pushes. But in that second half, he went cold, just like the rest of his team. And the misses piled up, and we suffered, like in the box score. So Davion Mitchell, not bad at all. 11 points, 9 assists, 2 steals. Did a nice job as a playmaker. We missed him the last game that we lost to the Sacramento Kings, which was unreal. But Davion looked good. Tyler looked good in that first half. He was great, 20 points, but he's 0 for 6 from 3. He had 999 threes, career threes going into this game. The announcer kept mentioning that, and he didn't hit that three to get him to 1,000. But Tyler 0 for 6, like defense, obviously not great as usual, but offensively, he was great in the first half. Second half, didn't really do anything. But yeah, it's just brutal when your two main perimeter scorers go 4 for 18 combined from deep in a game like this on the road when the rest of your team is not shooting well. But from the field, they shot okay, I guess, as a team. 42 for 93, which was 45%, but from three, 8 for 33, which was 24%. In this losing streak, they've been shooting like crap from three. That's your ball game right there. They got decent looks at times. Like I said, it seems like the Magic packed the paint, so they had good 3-point opportunities. But this was just one of those nights where the jumper didn't fall. It's a make or miss league. They missed. They've been missing lately. They're not a bad team, but when they're not hitting threes, they don't look great. They don't. They just look normal. They have defensive lapses, even though they are a pretty good defensive team. And the rebounding, is up and down. They're not a horrible rebounding team, even though they're undersized. And Spo plays small ball and loves it. And Spo's been annoying as well with his rotations. Didn't have the best rotations. His bench was getting crushed in that second quarter. He had at one point he had no Norm, no Tyler, and no Bam on the court. Like, what are you doing? You got to have one of those guys on there, especially when the Magic were making that run. But the glass tonight was a problem. They actually did get out rebounded 39 to 47. And of course, with Wendell Carter Jr., they're always going to win the offensive rebounding battle. They out rebounded us 15 to 7. So the edge went to the Orlando Magic, which helped. You can't give another team 8 extra offensive rebounds, one in an elimination game, which doesn't really matter, but especially on the road, that's extra threes, extra fouls, extra momentum for the crowd that they got from those possessions that kills you. And it wasn't just a Bam issue. This was a team rebounding issues. And again, we're small, like we're undersized. Like they have Paolo, who's like 6'10, 270. They have Wendell Carter Jr., who's like 6'11 or 7 foot. They have big guys like Tristan Da Silva off the bench is tall. Like their wings were just more physical. And it was just a rough game overall for this Miami Heat team. And the Magic did very well and went off from three themselves. On the flip side, they did what you're supposed to do to win a game. They shot 51% from the field. They shot 47% from three. They made 15 3-pointers. You shoot 15 threes to Miami's 8, and that's a 21-point swing just from deep alone. Individual standouts, obviously, Desmond Bane kicked our ass tonight. He had 37 points, 14 for 24 from the field, 6 for 9 from three. He killed us. He's played like shit the other two games that they beat us, shot below 26% in those games. But he was due. He's a good player. Miami had no answer for him all night. He was getting to the paint. He was hitting the three, getting to the free throw line. Every time the Miami Heat made a run tonight, Bane hit a big shot. Jalen Suggs, man, that guy's a demon on the defensive end. One of the better defensive players in the NBA, one of the best defensive guards in the NBA. Not like a very consistent guy. He's very streaky on offense. 20 points. He had 3 threes. He brought the energy, the pressure all night long, all the loose ball plays. Like he made winning plays all night. Paolo, solid. Not a great game for him. Not a big game, at least. To his standards, 18.7 boards, 4 assists. He didn't have to dominate because Desmond Bane did that. Wendell Carter Jr., again, dominated the Miami Heat, continues to dominate us and own us. 14 points, 10 rebounds, steady double-double, cleans up the glass, gets you opportunities for second chance opportunities, and that just kills you. Off the bench, Tristan Da Silva had some really good moments. Bitadze had some good moments. Those guys both chipped in. I know Silva had double-digit points. They had physicality, size advantage going, like I mentioned, and the Orlando's depth actually wore down the Miami Heat because the Miami Heat's bench played terrible. Jaime Jaquez Jr. had 10 points off the bench, and then everybody else didn't really play good at all. So, again, game flow, Miami started off the game great. They were up by 16. They were up 30 to 17 in that first quarter. They were locked in. They were defending. They were getting out in transition. It looked like they were going to win this game, and then the wheels fell off in those middle quarters. Magic won the second quarter 39 to 27, then the third 33 to 26. And again, the Miami Heat weren't able to come back after that. That's 72 to 53 for Orlando over the second and third quarter. So you're not winning many games when you're giving up those kinds of runs in the middle of the night. So by the fourth quarter, again, Miami was basically trying to chase the game with jumpers, 3-point shots. They couldn't hit anything. And that's not a good formula for the Miami Heat. If they're not hitting threes, this is going to be a rough stretch for the Miami Heat. If they're not hitting threes, then you're screwed. If you're not winning the rebounding battle, you're screwed. The Miami Heat, the frustrating part, won the turnover battle. They had 8 turnovers to the Magic 16, but that did not translate. And, they did good taking care of the ball. But when they enforced those turnovers, they were just so bad offensively tonight that they weren't able to convert those second chance, those or not second chance opportunities, but those opportunities from turnovers. And the Magic were lucky. But yeah, 8 turnovers less than the Magic, and they still got destroyed, basically, in my opinion. So for me, Miami's margin for error, again, moving forward is thin. When the shooting isn't there, when Norm's not hitting threes, when Tyler's not hitting threes, the margin for error is thin. Again, because we're undersized, we're not going to rebound that great. And our defense, we have lapses at times. We've allowed now Zach LaVine to score 42 and Desmond Bane to score 37 on us in these last 2 games. We need to do better in the effort categories, stuff that Suggs does all night long: rebounding, loose balls, paint points, drawing fouls. Like, they just didn't do that tonight. So this loss sucks. The Miami Heat have been bad, and they're looking like a mediocre team once again right now. They don't look like a top 4 team in the East right now. They look like a top 6 still, I would say, but just they got to play better, and just they got to win a game, man. They've lost games against the Mavs during this run, the Magic twice, the Sacramento Kings. Like, a good team doesn't lose to the Mavs or the Kings, and at least beats the Magic one game, especially tonight when you start off so hot and they don't have their second best player who's playing at an all-star level, who's going to be out indefinitely for now. Not a good look for the Miami Heat. Anyway, if you're still rocking with the Heat, obviously, which obviously I will, Ryder, I'm obviously a diehard fan. If you enjoy Miami Heat content, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with more Miami Heat post game analysis and breakdowns and more content in general. So anyway, thanks for watching. This was a freaking rough night, man. I'm just pissed off, and the Miami Heat need to figure this out soon because, again, this is a horrible trend, and we can't be losing these types of games.